This episode of Talking Timbers is brought to you by Appalachian Log Structures, International Homes of Cedar, Log Home Insurance, Rustic Log and Timber, Timberhaven Log and Timber Homes, U.S. Bank, and Ziegler Farms Handcrafted Flooring.
I'm here with Gordon Wright with StoneMill Log and Timber Homes. He's a sales consultant, been in the building industry, family building industry, I guess, for a really long time. So brings a lot of knowledge to the table. What we're going to talk about is, we're always talking about the early stages of design and things to think of. We're going to talk about how land choice can influence your design and build. In other words, there's a lot of factors on the type of land that you choose in terms of cost, orientation. All of those things all play a key role in the overall budget, the overall design. Gordon, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you today?
I am great. So let's talk a little bit about the land. I know that's a big part of your process when you meet with your customers. Tell us a little bit about what can happen in those early stages and the importance of that.
Yeah, so first thing, you want to make sure you have land. That's kind of the most critical part of it. A lot of people will get a little ahead of themselves when they try to pick out a plan before they have the land. The land plays a major role in what plan you decide and how you do the overall build. So we like to look at the lot prior to making those suggestions, just so that we can offer good guidance on that.
So I remember in my days when I was selling homes, you hit the nail on the head. Many people fall in love with a floor plan, whether it's the one in your gallery of floor plans or something they sketched out on a napkin or something they've always had in their head. But if they do come to you with something like that, the key is they need to be flexible once you walk the land, because you never know. Isn't that right?
Exactly. And a trip to the lot is a huge deal, especially when you're designing a home early on, because you can see where the viewscapes are, what the slope of the land is, what type of foundation you put in, how you enter the lot. All those things make a huge difference on what you design.
And when you're working with your customers in that land, I mean, especially if it's a lakefront mountaintop, you're always dealing with a view. Then you have to deal with orientation. What are you facing, south or north? Even those types of things, you're going to go with your view regardless if you're north, south, or east. So you have to make pretty important decisions in terms of window layout and those types of things, depending on that orientation.
Correct. Yeah, you want to spend the money where it makes the most sense. So, you're depending on what your budget is and how you budget, you want to take the most bang for your buck, I guess you might say. And, the view's a portion of it, but it's not everything, because exposure to the elements plays a big difference. And so how you orient the house on the lot will determine how much maintenance you do on the home as well.
Well, I just got off another Let's Talk, and we talked about the care and maintenance in a little bit, and we have another one coming up later that talks about that design, depending on what side of the windward direction you're on for the most part. Maybe porches are something to think about. That may or may not have been in someone's initial design. So those are the types of things you need to be kind of flexible with in terms of discussing that final floor plan.
Correct. Yeah. The more coverage you have on your porches, the less maintenance you're going to do. And, if you're in a heavily wooded area, that makes a huge difference, as well as as far as the design is versus being in an open field. You may want more shade in certain areas versus others. So, design is key. And so I encourage everyone early on to design the plan for the lot and make sure you think about every aspect of it. Do a site plan, get a surveyor there, get a contractor there early on, and kind of have some ideas on where you want to position the house before you even get started.
Now, as a sales consultant for StoneMill, when you go do your initial site visit, do you talk about those things? Do you go over what you think a driveway layout could possibly look like, maybe where assuming there's a septic field that needs to be installed and or a well? Do you discuss those things as well?
I do. I actually look at it on Google Earth. A lot of times I'll go and visit the lot. I'll look at if it's in a development, I'll look at the setback requirements for the lot. A lot of people have small lots. So when you have small lots, you have to really decide on your plan early on, because if you have a 90-foot one level rancher, but your lot's only 100 foot, then that might be an issue. So we try to look at all those parameters before making recommendations.
And those types of issues, when you have those, like some cases, you have to look at your setbacks, and sometimes you ask for forgiveness sometimes from the building department. But if you have narrow setbacks, it can affect the overall building too, because now you're trying to bring trucks in and different types of equipment. Sometimes that can affect a budget too in a way maybe you didn't think of.
Yeah, it can drive the cost of just access to the land. How you get the materials in and out of the job site. We have our trucks are 53-foot trailers. So to get those log packages in on 53-foot trailers is very critical. If we can't do that, then we have to shuttle them in remotely, which can add to the cost.
Which is a lot of fun. A lot of equipment, a lot of work. But, the beautiful thing about these homes for all they're worth is the fact that they usually are built in these lots that aren't the easiest to build on. Every now and again, you get a nice level lot in a meadow. But for a lot of it, you're on the side of a lake or near a lake or on the side of a mountain, and you're dealing with just different types of slopes and all kinds of things that have to go into the overall design of the home.
Absolutely.
When you're in those early stages in the building part of it, are you out there on the job site? Do you go periodically and you discuss these types of things as the home is going to help people visualize what they're seeing out there?
Well, we have a project manager for the log and timber portion, and we'll do the site surveys on site with the contractors, make sure that we're putting the foundation in correctly. We'll inspect the foundations.
Wow.
We'll kind of lead the customer through the early on in the process, and then as we do the log and timber portion, we'll be there right there with them step by step. And then from a sales standpoint, I make recommendations based on options and features for the home, maybe things they didn't think about, just the overall experience I've had through the years of, building log homes.
Well, that's great. I mean, and that's part of the service aspect of this industry, and the sales part is fun too, but it is relationship selling. You're building a relationship with a customer, and it lasts a long time. I mean, depending on the time frame of a build, you could be 1-2 years out. Sometimes they try to do it within 6 months and really speed up the process. But in the end, you create these long-term relationships. You're, after all, building a dream home for somebody or helping them realize their dream. And to me, that's the best part of this industry. When we talk about StoneMill log homes, I want to thank you for your time and expertise in that land and looking at all those types of things in the build process. Tell us a little bit about StoneMill log and timber homes.
Yeah, so StoneMill is based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. We're up near the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We have a rich tradition in building Appalachian-style flat log and timber frame homes. We have two profiles. We have a log-on-log profile, which eliminates the chink joint. But typically, we build a lot of 4-inch chink joints with the insulation between the logs. That is a very efficient way to build, and you can also run your wiring that way. It's very easy. So we can build pretty much anything out of heavy timber that the customer wants. So if it's a gazebo, a garage, a home, you name it, we've designed it. So we love to build anything out of timber.
Well, that's good to hear. It's when you're you have model homes that people can come and visit, correct?
Yes, we have 3 model homes in Knoxville, Tennessee. I can also do virtual tours or send a lot of photographs of customer builds. We have in customer enrichment tours where we go around and show, how the customer finished their own log home. We call it our Love of Logs tour. We also have bring vendors in and do a Logapalooza where, you can talk to the roofing, the window folks, just kind of do a one-stop shop.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So a lot of services that StoneMill Log and Timber Homes can offer you. Gordon, I want to thank you again for your time today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a
You
good
bet.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye.